Some of you are living on low battery, not because life ran out of power, but because you never stopped to recharge. You've been giving, running, fighting, and carrying so much that you forgot what it means to pause and breathe. But hear me today. This is your divine moment to rest, restart, and refocus your life. There comes a moment in every person's life when everything seems heavy, your mind feels tired, your purpose feels blurred, and your dreams look distant. You try to move forward, but the weight of yesterday keeps pulling you back. But listen, God never created you to live stuck. You were designed for progress, for growth, for victory. And sometimes the only way to move forward is to step back, press reset, and start again with a clearer mind and a stronger spirit. Don't you dare let your failures define you. Don't let your mistakes chain your future. When a device starts to glitch, we don't throw it away, we reset it. So when your life feels off track, you don't quit. You reset. This is your moment to release the old, restart your fire, and refocus your vision. Because you are not done. Your power just needs realignment. Reset your mindset. Because everything in your life begins and ends in the landscape of your thoughts. The way you think determines the way you live, the way you speak, the way you react, and even the way you believe in yourself. Your mindset is the steering wheel of your destiny. If your mind is filled with fear, your life will move in fearful directions. If your mind is filled with faith, strength, and confidence, then even in storms, you will see sunshine. Think about it. When a computer starts to lag, it's not because it has lost its potential. It's because too many unnecessary programs are running in the background, slowing it down. Your life works the same way. You can't move fast when your mind is overloaded with old pain, regrets, and doubts. You need to reset. You need to clear out the mental tabs that are draining your energy. That old argument, close it. That fear of failure, delete it. That negative self-talk that whispers, you can't. Remove it from your system. Every new beginning requires a new mindset. You can't start a new journey with an old map. If you want to reach a new destination, you must think in a new direction. The problem is not always the world around you. Sometimes it's the world inside you. You can't pour fresh water into a dirty glass and expect it to stay pure. You can't expect blessings to flow when your thoughts are polluted with negativity. Your mindset creates your atmosphere. That's why when you walk into a room full of people who carry light, you feel lifted. And when you stay in an environment filled with complaint, you feel drained. The energy of your thoughts shapes the energy of your life. Let me tell you something. Many people are living in mental prisons built from their own doubts. They want to change their life, but they keep thinking the same thoughts that built their struggles. You can't overcome a situation with the same mindset that created it. A broken thought cannot build a healed life. So ask yourself today, what kind of thoughts am I entertaining? Are they lifting me or limiting me? Because every thought is a seed, and your life is the garden. If you plant worry, you'll harvest stress. But if you plant courage, you'll harvest strength. Resetting your mindset means choosing better thoughts by ignoring reality, but by seeing reality through the eyes of possibility. It's waking up in the morning and saying, yes, I have challenges, but I also have choices. It's refusing to let one bad day make you forget how far you've come. It's standing in the middle of chaos and saying, I may not control everything, but I control how I respond. That's power. That's strength. That's the beginning of transformation. Every person you admire today once faced moments of doubt. The difference is that they didn't let those doubts define them. They learned to reset their mindset. Think of an athlete who loses a race. If they focus only on the loss, they'll never train again. But if they reset their mindset, they'll see the loss as feedback, not failure. They'll say, I didn't lose, I learned. That small shift in thought changes everything. Because when your mind changes, your life changes. You see, a reset doesn't erase your past, it redefines your perspective. It's like cleaning a foggy window. The outside view doesn't change, but your vision becomes clear. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to see growth where you once saw pain, and that clarity empowers you to move with purpose again. Look around you. Every great invention, every movement, every dream that came to life started in someone's mind. The power of creation begins in thought. If you want to build something new in your life, a business, a relationship, a better version of yourself, it starts by believing that you can. You can't receive what you don't first conceive. So reset your thoughts from, I can't, to I will. From, it's impossible, to, it's worth trying. From, I'm not enough, to, I am growing. Because your words follow your thoughts, and your actions follow your words. Sometimes the reset begins in silence. Step away from the noise of opinions, comparisons, and social media pressures. Find your quiet space. Sit with your thoughts. Ask yourself what's been holding you back. You'll be surprised how much of it is just fear wearing the mask of logic. You'll realize that most limits are illusions created by repetition. You've told yourself you can't for so long that you started to believe it. But once you break that belief, you break the chain. Every morning is an opportunity to reset your mindset. Every sunrise whispers, you have another chance. Don't carry yesterday's frustration into today's potential. Learn to start each day like a blank page. Not rewriting your old pain, but writing a new story. You are not what happened to you, you are what you decide to become. So when life feels heavy, don't give up, reset. When things fall apart, don't panic, reset. When you lose focus, don't hate yourself, reset. Because even in the deepest darkness, a single thought of hope can light up everything. That's the beauty of a renewed mind. It doesn't deny the storm, it chooses to see the rainbow. Remember this, your mindset is the soil where your future grows. Keep it healthy, keep it nourished, keep it positive. Because once you reset your mind, your actions align, your vision clears, and your energy rises. You'll walk differently, speak differently, and live differently. The world won't have to change for you to feel peace, because the peace will already be within you. So today, take a deep breath and say it to yourself, I'm not stuck, I'm not broken, I'm just resetting. Because sometimes that's all it takes to unlock the next level of your life. Restart your passion, because somewhere along the way, life has drained the fire out of you. The same dreams that once made your eyes light up now feel distant. The same goals that once made your heart race now feel like heavy burdens. You wake up, go through the motions, and call it living, but deep inside, you know something is missing. That missing thing is your passion, that spark that made you chase life with hunger, with belief, with excitement. And the truth is, that passion is not gone. It's just waiting for you to restart it. We live in a world that constantly demands, constantly pulls, and constantly drains. Responsibilities, stress, fear, failure, all of them are like rain pouring on your inner flame slowly. Without realizing it, your fire becomes smoke. You start telling yourself, maybe this isn't for me anymore, or maybe I was never good enough. But that's not the truth. The truth is, the fire inside you never dies. It just dims when you stop feeding it. Think about a car that has been parked too long. The battery weakens, the engine gets cold, and when you try to start it, it doesn't move. But does that mean the car is useless? No, it just needs a jump start, a restart, to bring it back to motion. You are that car. You haven't lost your drive. You just need to reconnect to your reason. Passion is not something you find, it's something you reignite. It's hidden in the small sparks of your everyday life, in the things that make your heart beat faster, in the moments where you forget time because you're so deeply alive. Maybe it's creating, teaching, helping, building, writing, or leading. Whatever it is, it's the thing that makes you feel like you. And when you lose that connection, life becomes dull, colorless, mechanical. That's why restarting your passion is not a luxury. It's a necessity for your soul. There will always be moments when your passion fades. Maybe you failed at something you loved. Maybe people didn't support your dream. Maybe life's problems became louder than your purpose. But remember, the flame doesn't go out because of the darkness. It goes out because it stopped receiving oxygen. You have to breathe into your passion again. Revisit your why. Why did you start in the first place? Why did you dream that dream? Why did it matter to you? Because when you remember the reason, the fire begins to rise again. Imagine a musician who once played from the heart but stopped after rejection. The guitar sits untouched, collecting dust. One day they pick it up again, not for applause, not for money, but just to feel that rhythm again. And suddenly the sound feels alive, the soul feels lighter. And the passion that once seemed lost returns like an old friend. That's the power of restarting. It brings back pieces of you that you thought were gone. Restarting your passion doesn't always mean changing your career or starting a big project. Sometimes it means changing your attitude. It means doing what you do with love again, with care again. If you're a teacher, it's remembering that you're shaping minds. If you're a parent, it's remembering that you're building futures. If you're a worker, it's remembering that every task done with sincerity becomes an act of greatness. Passion is not always about doing new things. It's about doing old things with a new heart. You have to fight for your fire because the world will always try to put it out. People will doubt you. Circumstances will test you. You'll face nights when you feel like quitting. But those are the very moments when you must restart again and again. Like a sunrise that never gets tired of showing up every morning, even after the darkest night. Your passion must rise again. Sometimes restarting means starting small. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't say, I'll begin when I have enough time or money. Start now with what you have where you are. Take one small step toward what lights you up, because momentum builds magic. One spark can create a wildfire if you protect it, feed it, and believe in it. Passion gives life meaning. Without it, you may be breathing, but you're not truly living. Passion is what makes you jump out of bed instead of dragging your feet. It's what turns fear into excitement, pain into purpose, and failure into fuel. When your passion is alive, even challenges look different. They become stepping stones, not stop signs. Look back at the moments when you felt truly alive. Maybe you were creating something, helping someone, learning something new, or chasing a goal that scared you. That was your real self speaking. That was your passion showing you what you were made for. Don't silence that voice. Don't let routine bury your fire. Life without passion is survival. Life with passion is power. Restarting your passion is like planting a tree again after a storm. The roots are still there. They just need care. Water it with belief, protect it with patience, and feed it with action. It won't grow overnight, but soon you'll see it rising again, stronger, deeper, unshakable. Every time you restart your passion, you rebuild your purpose. And every time you rebuild your purpose, you transform your life. Because passion doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. It gives your steps meaning and your heart a rhythm. So today, I dare you to look within. Find that one thing that once made you feel unstoppable and bring it back to life. Try again. Dream again. Love again. Work again. But this time with fire. Because you don't need a new life. You just need a new spark. Remember, your passion may rest, but it never dies. It's waiting quietly, patiently for the moment you decide to restart. And when you do, when you finally light that fire again, you'll remember what it feels like to truly live. Refocus your energy. Because where your focus goes, your power flows. The reason many people feel tired is not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too much of what doesn't matter. You can spend your whole day busy and still feel empty at night because business is not purpose. The truth is, you're not running out of energy. You're just giving your energy to the wrong places. You're pouring your time into distractions, your attention into negativity, and your emotions into things that don't build you. You're focusing on the noise instead of the direction. And until you refocus your energy, you'll keep feeling drained in a life that should be powerful. In this world of constant distractions, everything is fighting for your attention. Your phone, your fears, your doubts, other people's opinions, an endless noise that tries to pull you away from your purpose. You wake up, and before you even speak to yourself, you're already listening to the world. That's why your mind feels crowded. You've let everything and everyone plug into your energy, and now you wonder why you feel exhausted. But here's the truth, your energy is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to it. Not every thought deserves your focus. Not every battle deserves your fight. You have to protect your focus the way a lion protects its territory. Think about sunlight. When it's spread across a room, it warms. But when you focus that same light through a magnifying glass, it burns. That's the difference between scattered energy and focused energy. Scattered energy makes you tired. Focused energy makes you powerful. Some people spend their whole life running in circles because their attention keeps shifting. They start something, get distracted, and wonder why nothing changes. But those who refocus, who aim all their strength in one direction, are the ones who move mountains. Every goal you have, every dream you carry, needs focused energy. You can't chase your purpose while you're still staring at your problems. You can't build your tomorrow while you're still arguing about yesterday. You can't climb higher while looking sideways at who's doing better. Refocus means bringing your mind back to your mission. It means saying, I don't have time for distractions. I'm busy becoming who I was meant to be. Let me tell you, people lose years of their life fighting battles that don't even belong to them. They waste energy proving their worth to people who will never understand their value. They let negativity drain the energy that should be building their future. You must learn to say no. No to the noise, no to the drama, no to the energy thieves. Every time you say no to distraction, you're saying yes to destiny. Imagine a farmer who keeps watering weeds instead of the crops. The weeds grow tall, but the harvest dies. That's what happens when you give your attention to the wrong things. You feed the weeds of worry, gossip, and comparison, and starve the seeds of growth, peace, and purpose. Refocusing your energy is about identifying what truly matters and giving it your all. Ask yourself what's draining me and what's driving me, what adds peace to my spirit and what takes it away. The things that drain you must be limited. The things that grow you must be multiplied. Because the truth is, your time is your life. Whatever you give your time to, you give your life to. So if you spend every day focusing on things you can't control, you'll live powerless. But if you focus on what you can build, what you can learn, what you can change, you'll live powerful. Refocusing your energy also means learning to pause. Sometimes you can't see clearly because you're moving too fast. You need moments of silence to hear your own direction again. The world tells you to go faster, but your spirit says, be still, because when you stop and breathe, your thoughts settle and your purpose becomes visible again. It's like muddy water. Shake it and it's cloudy. Let it sit and it clears. Your mind works the same way. We often underestimate the cost of divided attention. Think of a phone with too many apps open. It lags, slows down, and eventually freezes. That's what happens when your focus is spread across too many worries, too many goals, too many people. Close the unnecessary tabs of your life. Everything deserves your response. Not everything requires your emotion. Some things only exist to test your discipline. In your daily life, practice intentional focus. When you work, give your full focus to the task. When you rest, rest fully. When you love, love deeply. When you grow, grow with purpose. The power of focus is not in doing more, it's in giving your all to what matters most. Half-hearted effort brings half-hearted results. But when your energy is aligned with your vision, life starts to move in harmony. Sometimes refocusing means walking away from what used to be comfortable. You might have to let go of people who no longer align with your peace. You might have to leave places that no longer challenge your growth. It's not about arrogance. It's about alignment. The eagle doesn't fly with pigeons, not because it's better, but because it was designed for higher altitudes. When you rise, your focus must rise with you. You have to understand your mind is a battlefield and your attention is the weapon. Every time you focus on your pain grows. Every time you focus on your strength grows. Life gives you both, but it's your focus that decides which one leads you. So, feed your focus and starve your fears. When you refocus your energy, you begin to see progress where you once saw pressure. You start to feel lighter because you're no longer fighting unnecessary battles. You begin to attract peace because your energy becomes clear, calm, and centered. That's when you realize the secret. The power you were chasing outside was always inside, waiting for direction. So today, stop scattering your energy across everything that doesn't deserve it. Take it back, reclaim it, redirect it. Because when your focus aligns with your purpose, you become unstoppable. Your vision sharpens, your steps become certain, and your results multiply. The same energy that once drained you begins to define you, not by how much you do, but by how deeply you do it. Refocus your energy and watch your life transform, not through force, but through alignment, because clarity creates confidence, and confidence creates miracles. Release the weight of yesterday because the past is heavy and you were never meant to carry it forever. Too many people are walking into their future while dragging bags of old pain, guilt, regret, and disappointment behind them. They smile on the outside, but are silently exhausted on the inside, not from today's struggles, but from yesterday's memories that won't let them rest. The truth is, you cannot build a new tomorrow with the materials of a broken yesterday. You have to let it go. Life is like a journey. Imagine trying to run toward your destination while pulling a suitcase filled with bricks. Every step feels harder, every breath feels shorter, and eventually you stop not because you're weak, but because you're carrying too much. The same happens in your spirit. You're trying to grow, to move forward, to reach your goals, but you can't because the emotional baggage from your past keeps weighing you down. You replay old mistakes, relive old hurts, and revisit old failures, and all of that steals the energy meant for your progress. You see, the weight of yesterday doesn't just slow you down, it blinds you. When your eyes are always looking back, you can't see what's ahead. That's why so many people feel lost. Not because the road isn't there, but because they're too busy looking behind them. You can't drive a car safely if you keep staring in the rearview mirror. You'll crash not because the road was dangerous, but because you refuse to look forward. The same rule applies in life. Forward focus brings freedom. Backward thinking brings bondage. It's not easy to release the past. Some of those memories feel like scars that never fully healed. Some of that pain came from people you trusted, moments you didn't deserve, or chances you lost. But holding on to it doesn't heal it. It only hurts you more. Every time you replay what happened, you reopen the wound. Healing doesn't begin when you forget. It begins when you decide that the past no longer controls you. It begins when you tell yourself, that happened, but it's not happening anymore. I survived it. I learned from it, and I'm walking away lighter. Think about a balloon filled with air. The moment you let go, it rises. That's what happens when you release the weight of yesterday. You rise. You feel lighter, you begin to breathe again. Your spirit starts to lift because it's no longer carrying what it was never designed to hold. There's peace waiting for you, but it's on the other side of release. Many people say, I want to move on. But then they keep holding on to the story that keeps them stuck. They define themselves by their past failures or heartbreaks, but your past is not your identity. It's your history. It's a chapter, not the whole book. Don't let one bad page make you close the story of your life. Sometimes the greatest chapters are written after the worst storms. When you release the past, you make space for new blessings. Imagine a cup already full of old, bitter water. You can't pour fresh water into it until you empty what's inside. That's what your heart needs, an emotional cleansing. Empty out the resentment, the bitterness, the blame. Because you can't receive peace with clenched fists. You must open your hands. Releasing the weight of yesterday also means forgiving not just others, but yourself. You've been too hard on yourself for too long. You've punished yourself for mistakes that taught you more than success ever could. Forgive yourself for not knowing better at the time. Forgive yourself for trusting the wrong people, for staying too long, for not leaving sooner, for giving too much. Those experiences were not wasted. They were lessons preparing you for greater strength. Think of a tree in autumn. It doesn't fight to hold onto its leaves. It lets them fall because it knows that losing them is part of its renewal. The same tree that looks bare in winter blooms beautifully in spring. You are that tree. You have to let certain things fall away, the regrets, the grudges, the fears, to make space for your rebirth. Letting go is not loss, it's growth. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. That's why sometimes release means stepping away from people, habits, or situations that keep pulling you backward. You can't expect peace while staying connected to your pain. If something or someone constantly reminds you of who you used to be instead of who you're becoming, it's time to move on. Your peace is too precious to sacrifice for the comfort of familiarity. Releasing the weight of yesterday is not a one-time event. It's a process. Some days you'll feel free. Other days you'll feel the pull of old memories trying to drag you back. But every time you choose peace over pain, you become stronger. Every time you refuse to reopen an old wound, you reclaim your power. Healing is not forgetting, it's learning to live without the pain controlling your every move. Ask yourself, how much more could you do? How much higher could you rise? How much lighter could you feel if you just let go of what's behind you? You can't fly with broken wings, and you can't soar while carrying stones from the past. The higher you want to go, the lighter you have to be. Every sunrise is a reminder that yesterday is over and today is a new chance. You can't change what happened, but you can change what happens next. Don't keep watering old memories when new beginnings are waiting to grow. Life moves forward, and so should you. So breathe in deeply and say to yourself, I release what no longer serves me. I release the pain, the regret, the guilt, and the fear. I'm not who I was. I'm who I'm becoming. Because once you release the weight of yesterday, you'll realize you were never broken. You were just buried under your own memories. And when you finally let them go, you'll rise stronger, freer, and more alive than ever before. Reconnect with the source, because when you drift away from what gives you strength, even the brightest soul begins to dim. Every living thing on this earth needs connection to survive. A flower cannot bloom if it's cut from the soil. A lamp cannot shine if it's unplugged from the power. A river cannot flow if it's cut off from its source. And in the same way, you cannot expect your life to feel full, powerful, and peaceful if you've disconnected from the one who fuels your spirit, from God, from the source of all energy, all strength, all guidance. Life has a way of pulling us in many directions. We chase goals, people, deadlines, and dreams. We run so fast trying to hold everything together that we forget the very thing that holds us together. We forget to pause. We forget to breathe. We forget to reconnect. That's why so many people feel lost even when they have everything, because you can't fill a spiritual void with material things. You can have success, wealth, relationships, and still feel an emptiness that nothing seems to fix. That emptiness isn't a curse, it's a calling. It's life whispering, come back home. Come back to your source. Imagine your phone. You charge it every day because you know if you don't, it dies. It doesn't matter how new or expensive the phone is. Without power, it's useless. Your soul works the same way. Every morning you wake up, your spirit needs recharging. The problem is, we spend more time connecting our devices than connecting our hearts. We scroll endlessly, but we don't sit quietly. We listen to everyone else's voice, but we don't tune into the voice within, the divine guidance that keeps us steady, grounded, and strong. To reconnect with the source, you don't need a perfect place or ritual. You just need honesty. You just need stillness. It's in those quiet moments when you stop performing for the world and simply be that you begin to feel the flow of peace again. When you sit in silence, you realize that everything you've been searching for, peace, clarity, direction, was always there, waiting for you to listen. Think of a river that has been blocked by stones and debris. The water doesn't stop existing, it just loses its flow. Once the obstacles are removed, the current moves freely again. Your connection with the source works the same way. The worries, fears, doubts, and noise of life block your inner flow. The moment you clear them through silence, reflection, prayer, or gratitude, your life begins to move smoothly again. The strength you thought you lost suddenly returns. The peace you thought you'd never feel again fills you once more. We all go through moments when we feel spiritually dry, when our motivation is low, our heart feels distant, and we start questioning everything. But that's not the end. That's the invitation. The Creator allows those moments so we can remember who we truly depend on. Because when everything else fades, the job, the applause, the plans, the only thing that remains unshaken is your connection with God. That connection is what keeps you centered when the world feels chaotic. It's what gives you calm in confusion and strength in storms. When you reconnect with the source, you stop trying to control everything. You begin to trust that there's a greater plan even when you can't see it. You stop fighting the flow of life and start flowing with it. You stop panicking when things fall apart because you understand that sometimes they fall apart so that better things can fall into place. Every day, take time to return to that source, not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to know you can't do it all alone. Spend moments in gratitude. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to reconnect. When you thank God for what you already have, you open the door for more. Gratitude aligns your energy with abundance instead of lack. It reminds you that even in chaos, there's something good, something beautiful, something divine working in your favor. Think of your heart like a garden. If you don't water it with spiritual connection, weeds of worry and stress begin to grow. But the moment you reconnect with the source, even for a few moments of stillness or reflection, you feel nourished again. You begin to bloom again. And people around you will see it too. They'll feel it in your peace, in your calm, in your smile. Sometimes reconnection requires disconnection. You might need to disconnect from negativity, from noise, from people who drain your peace. You might need to disconnect from your phone, from gossip, from anything that keeps your mind restless, because you can't hear divine guidance if your life is too loud. Silence is sacred. It's in silence that wisdom speaks. There's a quiet strength that comes from being deeply connected. It's not loud. It's not boastful. It's peaceful. It's the kind of strength that keeps you calm when others panic. It's the kind of strength that reminds you who you are when the world tries to confuse you. It's the kind of strength that doesn't break even when life shakes. That's what happens when you're plugged into your source. You become unshakable. Reconnect and you'll notice the difference. You'll start seeing signs, feeling guidance, sensing peace where there used to be pressure. The same life that once felt heavy begins to flow with ease because you're no longer trying to do it by yourself. You've aligned your power with divine energy, and that's the most unstoppable force on earth. So stop trying to carry everything alone. Stop thinking you have to figure it all out. You were never meant to. You were created to walk with the source, to move with divine strength. The moment you reconnect, the confusion fades, the exhaustion lifts, and the power returns. Breathe, pause, and remind yourself, I am not disconnected. I am divinely connected. My strength is not gone. It's being renewed. Because when you stay plugged into the source, no storm can drain you, no failure can break you, and no season can stop you. You'll move with peace, live with purpose, and rise with power because you're connected to where your true energy flows from. Redefine your vision because when life shakes you, your focus can blur and your direction can fade. You start walking without clarity, chasing everything but catching nothing. You wake up tired not from effort, but from confusion. You're moving, but you're not progressing. And that happens when your vision, your inner compass, becomes unclear. Vision is not just about seeing with your eyes. It's about seeing with your spirit. It's the picture you hold in your heart about where you're going and who you are becoming. When that picture fades, life loses its fire. That's why it's time to redefine your vision, to sharpen it, strengthen it, and bring it back into focus. Every person at some point loses sight of their vision. Maybe you started something with passion, but the setbacks made you forget why you began. Maybe life's noise drowned out your purpose. Maybe people told you that your dreams were too big and you started to believe them. Slowly, your fire dimmed, your excitement faded, and your path became unclear. But just because your vision got blurry doesn't mean it's gone. It's still inside you, waiting for you to clean the lens of your mind and look again. Think about a camera. When the image is out of focus, the picture looks cloudy, but the subject hasn't disappeared. It's still there. The camera just needs adjustment. Your life works the same way. The dream, the purpose, the goal, they're still there. They didn't vanish. Your focus just needs adjusting. Redefining your vision means asking yourself again, what do I really want? What am I really living for? What kind of person do I want to become? When you stop to reflect on these questions, you begin to clear away the confusion. The fog lifts. You realize that some goals you've been chasing weren't even yours. They were expectations placed on you by others. Maybe society told you what success should look like. Maybe family pressure made you follow a path that doesn't feed your spirit. Redefining your vision means getting honest about what truly matters to you. It's not about what looks good to others. It's about what feels right in your soul. Many people live their whole lives following someone else's definition of success and then wonder why they feel empty. They have the house, the job, the title, yet they feel lost. because they built their life around the wrong vision. Real success isn't about possessions, it's about peace. It's not about having more, it's about becoming more. Redefining your vision is about shifting from how do I look to who am I becoming. Look at any successful person who's living with purpose. They have clarity. They know where they're going and why they're going there. They don't waste energy on every opportunity because they know not every opportunity aligns with their destiny. That's what vision does. It acts like a filter. It helps you say no to the things that look good but don't align with your purpose. Without vision, everything looks urgent. With vision, only the right things feel important. Imagine driving a car in thick fog. You can still move forward, but you have to slow down because you can't see clearly. That's how life feels without vision. You move carefully, but you move without confidence. Once the fog clears, you can speed up again because you can see where you're going. When you redefine your vision, you remove that fog. You begin to move with power again. Redefining your vision doesn't mean you failed before. It means you've grown. It means you've evolved enough to see things differently now. What you wanted 5 years ago may not be what your soul needs today, and that's okay. Growth changes direction, and direction shapes destiny. Don't be afraid to update your dreams. Don't feel guilty for wanting something new. Vision is not fixed. It's living, breathing, evolving, just like you. Take time to write your vision down. There's power in seeing it on paper. Describe the life you want to live, the impact you want to make, the kind of energy you want to carry. The clearer your vision, the stronger your motivation. When your why is strong, your how will appear. The mind follows the picture you feed it, so make that picture powerful. Sometimes redefining your vision also means removing what blurs it. The distractions, the people who drain your focus, the habits that waste your time. You can't see clearly if your life is cluttered with noise. Simplify. Let go of what doesn't serve the version of you that you're becoming. Because every no to distraction is a yes to direction. Think about an artist painting a masterpiece. They don't start with perfection. They start with vision. Every stroke, every color, every adjustment is guided by the image they see in their mind. You are the artist of your life. Each decision, each effort, each step is shaping your masterpiece. But if you lose the vision of what you're painting, your strokes become random. When you rediscover that vision, every stroke gains purpose again. Sometimes redefining your vision will require solitude. You can't always find clarity in crowds. You need quiet moments to listen to the whispers of your soul. Sit with yourself. Reflect on your journey. Ask yourself what truly fulfills you, what drains you, and what makes you come alive. The answers will come, but only when you're brave enough to be still and listen. Once your vision is redefined, protect it fiercely. Don't share it with everyone. Not everyone will understand your direction, and that's okay. It's not their vision, it's yours. The same way an architect guards their blueprint until the building is complete, guard your vision until it's ready to stand strong. Because when you know where you're going, you don't need validation, you need commitment. Redefine your vision and you'll notice how life begins to align. The right people show up. The right opportunities unfold. The right energy flows because the universe supports those who move with clarity. You stop surviving and start creating. You stop chasing and start attracting. That's the power of vision. It gives your life meaning, direction, and fire. So pause, breathe, and look within. Don't be afraid to erase and redraw. Don't be afraid to shift your direction. You're not lost, you're realigning. And once you redefine your vision, you'll realize that you never needed to start over. You just needed to see clearly again. Forgive yourself, because sometimes the person you need to set free isn't someone else, it's you. You can't reset, restart, or refocus if your heart is still chained to regret. You can't walk into your future if you keep looking back at what you could have done differently. We all carry memories that sting, moments we wish we could erase, words we wish we never said, choices that still echo in the corners of our mind. But holding on to guilt doesn't heal you. It only holds you hostage. Forgiveness is not about forgetting what happened. It's about freeing yourself from being defined by it. Every person in this world has fallen short. Every person has made mistakes that left scars, some visible, some hidden. You've said yes when you should have said no. You've trusted the wrong people, walked down wrong roads, stayed too long in places that drained your soul. And now, sometimes, you punish yourself in silence. You replay those moments over and over like a movie that won't end. But here's the truth. You can't change your past, but you can change the meaning you attach to it. Instead of seeing it as failure, see it as formation. Every wrong turn taught you something. Every heartbreak refined you. Every delay protected you. Forgiveness begins when you stop asking, why did I do that? And start asking, what did I learn from it? You see, growth doesn't come from perfection. It comes from reflection. You're not meant to stay stuck in shame. You're meant to rise through it. The most powerful people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall, forgive themselves, and rise again stronger and wiser. Think about a phone that's overloaded with old files and data. It begins to slow down, freeze, and lag. The performance weakens not because the phone is broken, but because it's burdened with too much memory. That's what happens when you hold on to guilt and regret. Your soul lags. Your energy slows down. You carry emotional data that no longer serves you. Forgiveness is like deleting those unnecessary files. It doesn't mean those moments didn't happen. It means you've chosen to make space for new experiences to flow. You cannot pour new blessings into a heart that's still full of old pain. You can't build new confidence while replaying old failures. You can't hear divine guidance if you're still whispering to yourself, I'm not good enough. Forgiving yourself is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's choosing peace over punishment. It's realizing that you deserve another chance, not because you've earned it, but because you've grown through it. Many of us are kind to others, but cruel to ourselves. We forgive others easily, but replay our own mistakes endlessly. We show grace to friends, but judgment to our own hearts. Imagine if you spoke to yourself the way you speak to someone you love. Imagine if you offered yourself the same understanding you give to others. How much lighter would you feel? How much freer would you be? You can't become your best self while being your own worst critic. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean ignoring accountability. It means taking responsibility without carrying shame. You can acknowledge what went wrong, learn from it, and still love yourself enough to move forward. The Creator doesn't expect you to be flawless, only faithful. You were never meant to stay stuck in guilt. You were meant to grow through grace. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is the one staring back in the mirror because you know your thoughts, your mistakes, your private moments of weakness. But remember this, your mistakes don't define your identity, they define your journey. Every stumble, every scar, every setback has shaped you into who you are today. You are not broken. You are becoming. Letting go of guilt doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, just like healing. You might forgive yourself today and still feel the sting tomorrow. That's okay. Forgiveness is not a one-time event. It's a daily choice. Every morning, you remind yourself, I am learning. I am growing. I am not who I was. I am who I'm becoming. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall again and again, but no one scolds them for stumbling. Instead, we cheer them on, knowing that each fall brings them closer to balance. Why don't we offer ourselves that same grace? You fell because you were learning how to stand. You failed because you were trying to grow. That's not shameful. That's human. You see, forgiving yourself opens the door to refocusing your life. As long as you live in guilt, your energy is trapped in the past. But once you release it, your energy returns to the present, where your power truly exists. Guilt drains, forgiveness fuels. Guilt imprisons, forgiveness frees. Guilt whispers, you can't. Forgiveness declares, you still can. Or maybe you're holding onto a season you can't undo, a relationship that ended badly, an opportunity you missed, a time you gave up too soon. But hear this. What's meant for you will always find its way back when you're ready to receive it. Life has a beautiful way of recycling pain into purpose. The very thing that once broke you can one day become the story that inspires someone else to rise. When you forgive yourself, you stop living as a victim of your past and start living as a student of it. You stop hiding your wounds and start using them as wisdom. People often respect strength, but they connect with vulnerability. Your ability to say, I've made mistakes, but I'm still here, gives others permission to believe in their own comeback. So stop punishing yourself for being human. Stop comparing your past self to your present progress. You are not behind, you are being rebuilt. The same God who gave you breath has also given you grace, not to stay small, but to rise again. Let your forgiveness be your freedom. Stand tall, even with your scars. They are not signs of failure. They are proof that you healed. They remind you that you've fallen, but you didn't stay down. You've been broken, but you didn't stay shattered. You've made mistakes, but you didn't stop growing. That's what forgiveness gives you, the courage to start again without fear of who you used to be. So today, forgive yourself. Release the weight of yesterday. Look in the mirror and say, I am worthy of peace. I am deserving of a new start. Because the moment you forgive yourself, the past loses its power, the future becomes possible, and your heart finally breathes again. Discipline your mind, because your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. You can't build a strong life with weak thoughts. Everything you do, every decision you make, every path you walk begins in the mind. The mind is a battlefield where victories are won and losses are created long before you take your first step. If you allow negativity, fear, and doubt to live rent-free in your head, they will drain your energy and control your direction. But when you discipline your mind, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. Every day, your mind is being fed by what you watch, what you listen to, and who you surround yourself with. Most people don't even realize how much they are influenced by their environment. You can't expect to live a positive life if your mind is constantly soaked in negativity. The same way your body needs healthy food to stay strong, your mind needs healthy thoughts to stay stable. When you feed your mind garbage, your life begins to feel toxic. When you feed it truth, faith, and focus, your life starts to bloom again. Discipline doesn't mean controlling every thought. It means choosing which ones you let stay. Thoughts will come and go like passing clouds, but you decide which ones will reign over your life. When fear whispers, you can't, discipline tells it, watch me. When doubt says, you're not enough, discipline answers, I am growing every day. You begin to master your mind when you stop letting emotions lead your decisions. Think about a garden. If you leave it unattended, weeds will grow automatically. You don't have to plant them. They just appear. But if you want flowers, you have to be intentional. You must pull out the weeds, water the soil, and give it light. The same goes for your mind. Negative thoughts will grow by default. Positive ones must be cultivated with discipline. You must train your focus, protect your peace, and water your thoughts with consistency. Most of our struggles come not from what happens to us, but from how we think about what happens. The same event can break one person and build another, not because of the event, but because of the mindset. Two people can face the same storm. One panics and sinks. The other adjusts their sail and survives. The difference isn't in the storm. It's in the discipline of the mind. When your mind is undisciplined, it becomes a playground for fear. You start imagining the worst before anything even happens. You talk yourself out of opportunities because you fear failure. You replay what could go wrong instead of what could go right. But when your mind is trained, you don't feed the fear. You face it. You don't run from the challenge. You rise to it. A disciplined mind is not a mind that never feels fear. It's a mind that feels it and moves forward anyway. In daily life, you see examples of this everywhere. The student who wakes up early to study when others sleep, that's mental discipline. The athlete who trains in the rain while others quit, that's discipline. The person who keeps believing in themselves even after multiple rejections, that's discipline of the mind. Success doesn't belong to the smartest or the luckiest. It belongs to those who have mastered their thoughts, because a strong mind can carry you through what a weak one would crumble under. When you discipline your mind, you stop being a prisoner to your emotions. You no longer let one bad day convince you that you have a bad life. You don't allow temporary pain to make permanent decisions. You start responding instead of reacting. That's what separates peaceful people from restless ones. Not their circumstances, but their self-control. Discipline also means saying no to distractions that weaken your focus. Every time you choose purpose over pleasure, you strengthen your mind. Every time you resist the urge to give up when things get hard, you build mental muscle. And just like physical strength, mental strength grows through resistance. You can't expect to have a strong mind without facing pressure. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and so are disciplined minds. There are days when you won't feel motivated. That's when discipline steps in. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is loyal. Motivation wakes you up in excitement. Discipline gets you up when excitement fades. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. You can't rely on motivation to carry you through life because feelings change. When your mind is disciplined, you keep moving forward even when you don't feel like it. Think of your mind as a wild horse. At first, it's uncontrollable, easily distracted, and runs in every direction. But when you train it through focus, repetition, and patience, it becomes powerful, precise, and unstoppable. The same thoughts that once led you astray start working for you instead of against you. To discipline your mind, start by watching yourself talk. The words you say to yourself are shaping your reality. Stop saying, "I can't." Start saying, "I will find a way." Stop saying, "It's too late." Start saying, "It's my time." You have to speak to your mind like a leader, not a victim. Every time you replace negativity with belief, your mindset strengthens a little more. Another part of discipline is learning to focus on what you can control and releasing what you can't. Most of our mental stress comes from trying to manage things outside our power, other people's opinions, outcomes, timing. A disciplined mind knows when to act and when to let go. It doesn't waste energy on what can't be changed. It invests energy into what can be improved. Over time, you'll notice that a disciplined mind brings peace. Not because life gets easier, but because your reactions get wiser. You stop panicking under pressure. You stop chasing validation. You stop losing yourself in chaos. You start moving with calm, steady confidence. You understand that no matter how loud the world becomes, your inner stillness is your power. So train your thoughts daily. Feed your mind with strength, not fear. Read things that uplift you. Surround yourself with voices that push you forward, not pull you back. Protect your mental space the way you protect your home, because what lives in your mind eventually shows up in your life. Discipline your mind, and you'll find that even when storms come, you'll stay anchored. Even when the path gets dark, you'll walk in faith, not fear. Because when your mind is steady, your life becomes steady. And that's where true power begins, not in the world around you, but in the world within you. Surround yourself with purpose-driven people, because who you walk with determines how far you'll go. You can't fly high if you keep walking with people who crawl. You can't stay focused if you're surrounded by distractions disguised as friends. The energy around you either fuels your growth or drains your spirit. That's why it's so important to be intentional about your circle, because the company you keep shapes the mindset you build. You can have dreams as tall as mountains, but if you're surrounded by people who think small, they'll convince you to shrink just to fit in. In life, you will always mirror the people you spend the most time with. If you walk with complainers, you'll start finding reasons to complain. If you walk with thinkers, you'll start thinking deeper. If you walk with dreamers, you'll start seeing possibilities where others see problems. That's the quiet power of association. It changes you even when you're not paying attention. You start absorbing the habits, the language, the energy, and the mindset of those around you. That's why protecting your circle isn't arrogance. It's awareness. It's realizing that your peace, purpose, and progress depend on your environment. Think about a fire. When you stand close to it, you feel warm. But if you move too far away, you get cold. The same goes for people. Some keep your spirit warm with positivity, passion, and faith, while others drain your energy and leave you cold. You have to know when to step closer and when to step away. You don't have to hate anyone to create distance. You just have to love your peace enough to protect it. We often hold on to people because of history, not harmony. We stay close to those who were there in our past, even when they don't belong in our present. But not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Some people are lessons, not lifetimes. Some were meant to help you grow, not go with you. You have to discern the difference between those who feed your fire and those who suffocate it. Surrounding yourself with purpose-driven people doesn't mean finding perfect people. It means finding people who push you to be better. People who hold you accountable when you drift. People who remind you of your potential when you forget. People who don't just cheer when you win, but challenge you when you settle. You need people who don't just make you feel good, but make you grow. In daily life, you can see how this truth plays out. The student who studies with hardworking classmates performs better because the energy of discipline spreads. The employee who works with a motivated team naturally gives more effort because excellence becomes the culture. The person who spends time with positive thinkers begins to see hope even in hard times. The environment shapes behavior, always. If you've ever noticed how your mood shifts around different people, that's the proof. Around some, you feel light, creative, and inspired. Around others, you feel drained, doubtful, and small. That's not coincidence, that's energy. You absorb the atmosphere you live in. That's why you must create an environment that lifts you higher. Build a circle where conversations are about ideas, not gossip. Surround yourself with people who talk about purpose, not problems. People who help you heal, not reopen wounds. But here's the key. To attract better company, you must first become better company. Purpose-driven people are drawn to energy like theirs. You can't expect to meet driven people if you carry laziness, jealousy, or negativity. You have to become the kind of person who inspires others through action, not just words. Work on your character, your focus, and your mindset, and the right people will naturally align with your path. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is outgrowing people. It hurts to distance yourself from those you love, but peace requires pruning. Even trees shed leaves to grow stronger. You're not abandoning anyone. You're evolving. And if they truly love you, they'll understand that your growth isn't rejection. It's reflection of who you're becoming and what you're meant to build. When you surround yourself with purpose-driven people, you start seeing yourself differently. They remind you of your greatness when life makes you forget. They speak life into your dreams when doubt tries to silence them. They help you refocus when you lose sight of your why. It's like running a race. It's easier to keep going when others are running beside you. Purpose-driven company keeps your spirit moving when your strength feels low. Look at any person who's achieved greatness. Behind them, there was always a circle that fueled their fire. Athletes have coaches who push them beyond their limits. Entrepreneurs have mentors who guide their vision. Dreamers have believers who keep their faith alive. No one rises alone. We rise together. And the higher your purpose, the stronger your circle needs to be. In daily life, even small interactions matter. Spend time with people who celebrate your growth instead of competing with it. Be around those who can clap for you even when it's not their turn to win. A jealous circle will drain you. A supportive circle will sustain you. True friends don't pull you back to who you used to be. They push you forward to who you're meant to become. Surround yourself with voices that speak light into your future. When your mind starts doubting, you need people who say, "You've got this." When your plans fall apart, you need people who remind you, "There's a reason for this." When your spirit feels tired, you need people who help you see that rest isn't quitting, it's recharging. But also be that person for others. Be the one who lifts when others are low. Be the one who speaks life when others lose hope. Be the one who leads by example, consistent, focused, faithful. Because what you give to your circle gives back to you. Energy is contagious. Make sure yours inspires. At the end of the day, life is a journey, and no one walks it alone. The company you keep determines whether you move forward or stay stuck. So look around your circle and ask yourself, do these people reflect where I'm going or where I've been? If the answer makes you hesitate, it's time to reset your surroundings. Because when you walk with the right people, those who speak truth, live purpose, and carry peace, you don't just grow faster, you grow stronger. You start thinking bigger, believing deeper, and living bolder. You become unstoppable, not because you're alone, but because you're surrounded by energy that refuses to let you give up. So choose wisely. Walk with warriors, dreamers, and believers. Walk with those who see your light even when you can't. Walk with those who remind you that purpose isn't something you find, it's something you grow into together. Keep moving forward, because no matter how many times life knocks you down, your power is in getting back up. Progress doesn't always look like speed. Sometimes it looks like crawling, limping, or simply refusing to quit. The road to becoming your best self isn't straight. It's full of detours, delays, disappointments. But the truth is, every step you take, no matter how small, still moves you closer to your destiny. You might not be where you want to be yet, but as long as you're still moving, you're still winning. Life will test your patience. There will be days when you feel like nothing is working, when every plan collapses, every effort fails, and every door seems locked. You'll feel tired, frustrated, maybe even hopeless. But remember this, setbacks aren't the end. They're the training ground. Every delay is developing you, every difficulty is strengthening you, and every challenge is teaching you endurance. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Look at nature. A seed doesn't sprout the moment it's planted. It spends time underground, hidden unseen, fighting through the soil before it finally breaks through the surface. That hidden stage is part of the process. And the same goes for you. Just because your growth isn't visible doesn't mean it's not happening. Sometimes God keeps you in the dark to let your roots grow deep. Because if your roots aren't strong, you won't survive the winds when success comes. So when it feels like nothing's moving, remind yourself you are still growing even when you can't see it. Moving forward isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. You can fall 100 times and still rise stronger than before. Every failure carries a hidden lesson. Every disappointment carries direction. Maybe the path you planned isn't working because there's a better one waiting. Maybe the opportunity you lost wasn't rejection. It was redirection. Life doesn't always take you the way you want, but it will always take you the way you need. Think about a runner in a marathon. They don't sprint the whole race. They pace themselves. They stumble, get tired, slow down, but they keep moving because the finish line doesn't demand perfection. It demands endurance. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep showing up. Each step forward, no matter how small, breaks the chain of stagnation. Each step says, I refuse to give up. That decision, repeated daily, creates unstoppable momentum. There will be people who doubt you. There will be voices that say you're too late, too tired, too broken, or too far gone. But those voices don't know your story. They don't know the strength that's been built in your struggle. You've survived things that once made you believe you wouldn't make it, and yet here you are. That's proof enough that you can move forward again. You've already overcome worse. This next chapter is just another climb, not your end. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common. They kept going when it would have been easier to quit. They didn't get lucky. They got consistent. They showed up when no one clapped. They believed in the unseen when everyone else doubted. They understood that storms don't last forever, but strong minds do. That's what separates dreamers from doers, the willingness to keep moving even when it hurts. In daily life, we often think that progress means constant motion, always busy, always productive. But sometimes moving forward also means resting. Resting doesn't mean quitting, it means recharging. You can't pour from an empty cup, taking a step back to breathe, to reflect, to heal. That's also part of the journey. The key is not to stop completely. Even in your stillness, hold your direction. Keep your faith anchored. There's a beautiful truth in persistence. Every small effort compounds over time. A single drop of water doesn't seem powerful, but when it keeps falling, it carves through stone. That's what your consistency does. You might not see results right away, but every effort is shaping your future. Every bit of discipline, every act of courage, every moment of faith, it's